Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Lauren Newley here. I'm super excited about this video. Today we are going to be talking about my favorite tips for journaling. So just for a little bit of context, journaling has been something that has been in my life for a very long time. When my parents got divorced when I was 5, I feel like this was one of the first tools that somebody kind of suggested to me to kind of learn how to process my emotions. I think that the way that I've used the journal has changed drastically over time as, I've grown in maturity. And I think finally I've found my groove with the journaling, and I just wanted to share my tips with you guys. So I know that I've talked about, journaling as a tool when you're going through TE, but I actually think that journaling is a very great tool for really anyone to kind of process maybe more of that like psychosomatic stress that you hold in your body. And I think just a way to kind of get your emotions out that doesn't involve other people. And I think it's a really, really powerful tool. I have recently been able to sort of get to a meditative state while writing and journaling, and that really has completely changed the game for me in a lot of ways. And I think that being able to write in that way is so, so powerful that I have to try to help other people learn how to do it. So these are my favorite tips for journaling. If you haven't tried journaling and you're even just the teeniest bit intrigued, I would say just try it. My first tip, kind of going on to what I was saying, is you need to learn how to meditate as you're learning how to journal. Because the end goal, which there are tons of different ways to journal, I really haven't done any research, but now that I've done a lot of different ways, I would say this is the end goal, is to be able to sort of get to a meditative state while you're writing. And if you don't know how to meditate, how are you possibly going to be able to do that? So my first tip would be learn how to meditate as you're learning how to journal, with your end goal of journaling being able to sort of write in a meditative state, because that is where I've found I've been able to really release a lot of the stress and tension that I've been holding in my body for literally years and years and years. Tip number 2 is gear matters. It does. I think that you need to find a journal where the exterior and the interior works for you. For example, I am somebody where I cannot write in a notebook with the rings. It has to be, I grabbed my journal so you guys could see, it has to be something like this. Yes, this is very large. I have a lot of thoughts. But this is what I want. I want to be able to write on the lines and just the flow. I can't have any rings. Is this the most inspiring exterior? No, it's really not. But I've now come to find that it's apparently a personality trait to be somebody who journals and want to have all the same journals throughout your life, which is kind of the phase I'm in right now. I have not always been in that phase, and I think that it'll probably change, but for right now, this is what I'm using. And I think that when you pick out your journal, it should be something that makes you feel inspired. Like when you imagine yourself writing in it, you're like, yes, it's me. Like I'm healing myself with this like amazing journal. That should be the vibe going into it. Also in terms of gear, pen. This is the best pen for me personally. You'll have to find something for yourself, but I'm not somebody where I can like write each individual letter. That is so slow. I'm somebody who likes to do everything fast. I like to write fast. And this pen is very glidey and it can keep up with my thoughts. So in terms of gear, this is where I'm at right now. But I think that the gear is really, really important. And I would urge you, if this is something that you're going to get into, go out and buy stuff that makes you feel inspired. It's not that expensive, relatively, as an investment in yourself. It's a notebook and a pen, and I think that you should feel good about yourself when you're using it. My next tip is forget format. So if you're somebody who is like me, where you are a bit of a perfectionist and you're gonna kind of get in your head about the paragraphs and the punctuation, and for example, sometimes when I'm writing, I'm like, oh, I wanna end this journal right on this page and not go into a new fresh page. No, you gotta let that go, because you're not really gonna get the healing part of it. You're not gonna get the benefit of it if you're so focused on this format. Like, yes, we do want to spell things correctly and have correct punctuation for ourselves, but it's not actually relevant in writing in the journal. And I think that once I've kind of let it go and been fine with, for example, crossing out something and rewriting something, or not having everything look perfect on the page, that has helped me a lot. So my next tip kind of goes along with that, but it talks more about the tone. It's a conversation. This should be a conversation. It doesn't need to be a conversation with somebody in particular. It just more needs to be a conversation in the sense that you're talking to somebody where you don't really care what they think and you're just telling them brutal honesty and you're just being really informal with them. That's the tone that you want in your journal. And I think that if you're somebody who is taught to write in a more traditional manner from school and things like that, I think that can be a little bit hard to kind of break that habit. But I think once you can kind of get into that informal tone, but more importantly, the brutal honesty and the kind of total freedom of just writing what you're thinking in a conversational manner, I think that's where like the real magic happens. And then my last tip is just no judgment. This is your journal. This is not a published novel. No one is hopefully going to read this. And if you do get to that point where I hope that you do, so you can see what I'm talking about, but if you get to this like meditative state, a lot of what you're writing doesn't even really have a lot of merit. It's more just like maybe how you felt a long time ago, or maybe just thoughts. I don't even really know, but it's just kind of a vessel to get the stress out of your body. And I just feel like when you put this judgment, same with like meditation, which I think is interesting that they sort of go hand in hand in this situation, but you're not going to sit there and be like, okay, I'm meditating. Like, don't think, don't think, don't think. You're thinking about not thinking. Same with the journal. Like, you shouldn't pick up the journal and be like, what am I going to write in my journal today? No, that's okay if that's the style you're in right now. And sometimes I do go back to that style, but that's not the type of journaling that I feel like is really making a huge impact on my life. It's more this kind of like meditative, no judgment. We're writing the words. Do they have merit? That's for you to figure out, but you're kind of just getting it out. That is where I have been on the journaling situation and the journaling journey, and I am absolutely loving it. So I had to make this video for you guys. I had to talk to you guys about this because I think journaling is such an amazing tool, and it has just recently changed for me so much, and I'm so excited about it. So I really hope that this inspires you guys to go out, get a journal, do a little self-healing, invest in yourself a little bit, and make those changes. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.